everyone, and welcome to this, our third and final video for this week, and our second about syntagmatic choices. Let's start by reminding ourselves that syntagmatic choices are how individual words and images are put together. In the previous video, we explored this in relation to spatial relations. In this video, we're going to explore it in relation to sequential relations, where words and images are in time in relation to each other. The most useful way to think about this in relation to advertising is by analysing narratives. Narrative simply means the way words are used to present a set of connected events as an overall story. At its very basis, a story needs a recognisable beginning, middle and end. Tsvetan Todorov, here he is, saw this as a bit more than just dividing a story into three sections. For him, narrative was something dynamic that included changes in the state of affairs in the world. You might remember exploring this in your written communication module, but that was a long time ago, right? So let's refresh. In Todorov's model, the beginning equates to equilibrium, the middle is disequilibrium, and the end sees a restoration of equilibrium. So what's equilibrium and disequilibrium then? Have you ever tried to use a balance board? You could think of disequilibrium as the state when you're a bit all over the place and trying to balance the board, but you haven't managed it yet. Equilibrium is the state when you have managed to completely balance the board. Or you could think of it in relation to a boat or plane journey that encounters rough seas or turbulence. It doesn't have to be as literal as that though. Think about your own experience of finding work or uni challenging and then cracking it, or where a friendship or relationship is tricky and then you work it out. These are metaphorical cases of disequilibrium and equilibrium, and they are all the basis for stories. Narratives don't need to be complicated in advertising. In fact, it's often better if they're not, because you don't have much time to work with and you don't want your viewer or listener getting lost. The More Than Insurance, Drama, No Drama programme sponsorship clips are a brilliant example of just how simple and effective narrative can be. Let's watch a few.
Drama? No drama.
I thought I was going to lose you.
Yeah, me too.
More Than Insurance sponsors ITV Showcase Drama.
Drama? No drama.
More Than Insurance sponsors ITV Showcase Drama.
You can be so selfish.
Me? It's you.
Me?
Dramas? No drama.
Yes.
More Than Insurance sponsors ITV Showcase Drama.
Drama? No drama.
More Than Insurance sponsors ITV Showcase Drama.
Of course, these are for a sponsorship of drama programmes, in which the relationship between equilibrium and disequilibrium is key and often fraught. And the point of the ads is to contrast those TV dramas with the lack of drama we would allegedly experience if we were insured with More Than. So they can really make the most of the extremes of disequilibrium to great comic and memorable effect, in a relevant way. The use of bite-sized scenes of disequilibrium and resolution of equilibrium chime with what viewers love best about programmes in the drama genre, and simultaneously represents the ideal insurance process. The taglines, drama, no drama, and diffuse the drama, reinforce this. Notice also the given new approach of the More Than guy wiping across the screen. Why not pause the video here and try this task? As always, if you take time to have a go at these little in-video tasks, it will reinforce your understanding and improve your analytical skills. Let's now continue to think about narrative in advertising with a little more complexity. You don't always have to show the full narrative to get your point across. Consider this fairy non-bio ad. It provides us with small slices of the narratives of the people shown, and because we are so familiar with how stories work, we can glean meaning from these by unconsciously filling in the blanks between them.
Head, shoulders, knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes. And eyes and ears and mouth and nose. Head, shoulders, knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes.
Whatever your age or clothes you're in, there's nothing like Fairy for sensitive skin.
It's also worth saying something that might seem super obvious, but is evidence of our familiarity with narratives as well. We immediately recognise this as multiple parallel narratives rather than trying to read it as one single narrative. This has the effect of communicating to us that the product is suitable for a wide range of people. It makes it all-encompassing, if you like. Furthermore, we know enough about narratives to recognise that all the slices of life we see here are equilibrium parts of the people's narratives. This makes absolute sense, of course, because with any product, you want to associate the product with the positive aspects of a person's experience. Now let's consider this Right Move ad. I think this is a fantastic ad.
Graham, love, can you give me a hand? Oh, don't worry, love. Graham.
Right Move make effective use of multi-layered narrative. We see the stories of two families within one overarching narrative of the house. Within the older couple's story, there are multiple mini-narratives which all follow a similar script and are very funny. The young family's story is open-ended and therefore we could say aspirational, I guess. In a clever last-minute shot, the viewer shifts from thinking that only the young family narrative and the overarching narrative have been resolved, to realising that actually the older couple narrative has two. Prop and Grimus, here they are, who looked at literature but whose ideas can be applied effectively to advertising as well, tell us it is helpful to look for patterns not just in the actions or events in a story, but in the roles people or characters play in them. They wrote separately, by the way, and at different times. I have just put them side by side here because their ideas follow similar themes. So don't be referencing them as Prop and Grimus. Here are lists of the basic roles each of the theorists came up with. In both cases, their theory is more complex, but for our purposes, this is enough. And you can look further into their work if you're particularly interested in it. You might notice that this links back nicely to discussions about binary oppositions. As I've said before, there are often links to be found, so do keep your eyes and ears open for them. You'll see that props theory also identifies a magical agent. Think the beans in Jack and the Beanstalk, for example. And it can be useful to consider whether some products are cast in this way, as in, the product is presented as the reason why the characters in an ad are able to move from disequilibrium to resolution of equilibrium. More Than Insurance, that we just watched, is a perfect example of this. You'll notice it all over the place in advertising if you look. A great advertising strategy is to present a narrative that casts the human roles unexpectedly, rather than stereotypically. Check out these two ads to see what I mean. The first is an iconic Christmas ad from John Lewis, in which the role the young boy plays is the opposite one to what we expect.
Good times for a change. See the luck I've had could make a good man turn bad. So for once in my life, let me get what I want. Lord knows it would be the first time. Lord knows it would be the first time. So please, 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 let me get what I want. Lord knows it would be the first time.
The second is an Amazon ad in which the two characters play the same role, where we might expect them to act differently or even oppositionally. Why not pause the video here and try this little in-video task to see if you can think of any examples that work similarly to those we've just looked at. If you're feeling creative, you could even try to think up one of your own. To finish off this video and this week's content, I want us to think a bit beyond advertising. Arguably, we all develop the stories of brands through the ways in which we use and display them. What clothes do we choose to put on in the morning? Do we choose to hide one carrier bag inside another, or do we proudly carry our bargain bag? Or do we deny carrier bags altogether, thus telling a sustainable story? Do we discuss our experience of certain products with one another and thereby extend their narrative? This aspect of brand narrative is all the more pertinent now with the increasing profile of social media influencers. SMIs embed products in their own life narratives by displaying themselves using and experiencing them. The extent to which these narratives are real-life narratives is of course an interesting debate to have. Why not pause the video here and do this task? Note down some thoughts about any specific examples of SMI activity that you can think of in response to the questions. Here's what you'll be doing for your blog work this week. The work is very similar each week, encouraging you to develop your analytical skills in relation to each of the concepts we cover. As always, there is fuller guidance in the application folder for this week on Blackboard. Well, that's the key content done and dusted for this week. I really hope I've piqued your interest with these ideas and examples. Enjoy your blog work and have fun in the live session. See you in next week's videos.